Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. I hope you guys are all enjoying your Saturday mornings. I thought I'd jump on for a very quick video as Anthony Gordon has now been spotted at the Newcastle United training ground for a medical. He is there right now having his medical done ahead of his 40 plus 5 million move from Everton to Newcastle United. It's crazy how there's been so much talk about this one over the last week, 2 weeks, and then within a day, the bid's been accepted. He's in Newcastle, he's getting the medical done. I expect there to be no issues with personal terms. The whole thing was about Newcastle and Everton agreeing on a price. Everton wanted 60 million. Newcastle did not want to pay 60 million. You can let me know down below in the comments if you think 40 million plus 5 bonus is a fair price for Anthony Gordon. But regardless, it's happening. He will be a Newcastle player very, very soon. Could we see it announced tonight? Will we wait for tomorrow? Will he be at St James's Park later on today getting his photos done? I mean, that's the thing. The window is ticking down. And it's clear to see that once that bid was accepted, we mean business. We needed to get him in. We needed to get this medical done. And I think so we can get it done and dusted and turn our attention to hopefully some other transfers. It's understood that Newcastle have, in fact, placed a bid for Harrison Ashby, the young right-back from West Ham. Reports this morning are that West Ham have rejected that bid. So the question is, could Newcastle go in and try and make another move for him? I mean, the Gordon one, the quicker we get him in, the quicker he can join up with the squad. It's understood that, or I believe, Gordon is cup-tied. So even if we did get him done this weekend, I don't believe he would be available for the semi-final. But obviously we would still hopefully have him, come into the squad. The first 11, that's something we'll have to talk about in our next preview as to whether Gordon would slot in straight away. In fairness, Eddie Howe normally likes to take a bit of time with his players, doesn't he? It's not often he'll chuck them in at the deep end and play them from day one. And would it be out on that left-hand side? We've just seen Maxi come in and play really well in the last game. It's creating competition. It's bulking up the squads. We're in a great place in the league. We want to try and add to that. And we've mentioned it before, Gordon is clearly a player that Eddie Howe's been interested in. It wasn't just this January window, it was back in the summer as well. So yeah, with not long left to go, I think Newcastle have gone, right, we've been in these conversations all this time. We need to get something done. We need to bring somebody in. And I think that's why they've pulled the trigger and gone, right, 45 million. Yeah, I would say I think it's a little bit steep, but generally speaking, is not every transfer steep now? That's the thing. I don't necessarily think it's above and beyond maybe what we should have paid. I think it's on the pricier side, but is that not just football generally? So you let me know your thoughts on that one down below. The Harrison Ashby one is understood to have gone in and been rejected, and there's still talks of James Maddison. Could there be some twist in the tail before the end of the window? I mean, I'd love to see it. And that's the thing. If we can get Leicester from up here with their evaluation to down here, where it's just that little bit closer to what we want to be spending, could we pull the trigger on that one as well? I don't know if we would go out and spend 70, 80 million this window. If we're already bringing in Gordon, have we got the FFP? We've got the funds, we've got the richest owners in the world, but have we got the FFP to also push through and have both of those players come in? But as I've said a few times now, we've seen it with Isak at the end of the summer window. If we can get a player on a price that we think's right, we could do it. And that's the thing, we can still try and let players go in this final week as well, and that will be interesting to see. We've already seen us do that with Chris Wood. Loaned him out, let Nottingham Forest pay some of the wages. We're hopefully going to get some money back on him as well. Could we see maybe a Fraser? He's a player that's being linked away. Matt Ritchie's been linked. It looks pretty sure that Carl Darlow will be making his way out of the door, and all that does is creates space in the wage budget that we can try and put towards a Maddison. But if I'm honest, I think possibly Ritchie, Darlow and Fraser would probably combined get paid less than what James Maddison would ask for in wages. So that's the also tricky thing. I think that's why Chris Wood was a good one to move on. I'm pretty sure he was on a pretty good wage because of the way we brought him in January. His amount of wages would definitely free up a decent amount of space. I don't know that Darlow, Fraser or Ritchie would, but it would still help us in the direction you want to get in. And then on the flip side, we also had Kieran Trippier announce his new contract yesterday. I spoke about the fact that we thought Bruno would be getting one. Bruno hinted on Twitter, Instagram that he could be getting a new contract. I think Trippier's probably the first of a few, to be honest. I mentioned this, if we are going to be bringing players in like Gordon, don't know how much he's going to get paid, but generally speaking, you'd imagine it'll be a reasonable amount to me. If we're signing him for 40, 45 million, you'd think he's also going to be asking for a reasonable wage as well. People like Bruno, people like Trippier who have come in and done a fantastic job, and we want to reward them for that. Trippier still had, some time left on his contract, and we've given him a little extension on top. I think it's a 1-year extension we've put onto that deal, which is good news for him, and it's good news for us. He's been a great player, and we want to try and keep him around. You would imagine, to be fair, players are playing longer and longer. You'd imagine that maybe this would be Trippier's final club. Can he take us to some trophy success and league success and maybe some sort of European success over the next few years? That's what you really hope to see. But yeah, it's great news for Trippier. And I would not be surprised to see a few more come out. I mean, we've seen Chelsea doing it as well. Chelsea bringing in players on extortionate contracts, and it's because of how you pay the transfer fee. If you have a player come in on these 6-7 year contracts, I know they're trying to change the rules a little bit on this now because of the fact that Chelsea have pretty much taken the mick out of it over this January window. But if we've got, Trippier for an extra year, extra 2-year contract, I know the amount of money we spent wasn't loads for him, but it still gives us longer to pay it off. And the longer you've got something to pay off means the more money you've got to spend now. Same with Bruno, give him a contract extension. In theory, that gives us an extra year, extra 2 years to pay off that 40 million. Same with Isak, if we gave him a contract extension, it gives us longer to pay off that 60 million. And as I said, it is different now because of what Chelsea's done. I think you don't get as many years to pay it off and stuff. But generally speaking, it's a good idea from us. It rewards the player, it keeps them here longer, and because it gives us longer to pay them off, it frees up money to try and spend right now. So if we've got Trippier on a new deal, possibly Bruno, possibly a few others this January window, that in theory would free up more money that will be available for this window, for a Gordon, and hopefully for somebody else. But yeah, the big news is Gordon is here, Gordon is going through, and we'll see him in Newcastle top very, very soon. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts on Anthony Gordon. Let me know your thoughts on the rest of this window. Is there more to be done from Newcastle, or could that be the end of it? You let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for, hopefully, some more videos about players walking into the Newcastle training ground. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you later.